Now, our final guest for today first appeared on screen together 35 years ago. Over 3 decades later, they're still front and centre of Friday nights quizzing some of the biggest names in politics on the news of the day, all whilst cracking the odd joke or two. Please welcome Ian Hislop and Paul Merton. All delivered, Paul, with that deadpan face that we love so much every time. Listen, congratulations, happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Say 35 years.
We've been married. Oh no.
Yeah. never a crossword.
Oh no.
No.
What are you doing to celebrate? What have you got a special celebratory programme lined up?
We decided to come on the show and have a glass of water.
Yes. Hot though.
So
You've got a hot one.
Yeah. We don't have much of a budget. But we're saying though, you're joking about being married, but 35 years. So when you met, what did you think of each other?
Well, Ian put a story out in the paper that I thought he was a stuffed shirt, but because Ian doesn't understand working-class culture, nobody who's working-class has ever used the phrase stuffed shirt. I don't even know what it means. I know I thought he was... I was a big admirer of Private Eye, and then he took over the editorship. And it went downhill from there on. I always thought Ian was a great guy, and unfortunately I met him, and then I turned out to be completely mistaken.
Now it's your turn. What did you think of him? Yeah.
Well, keep it clean.
I always say British comedy, people think it's about sex, but it isn't. It's about class, really. That's what we really find funny. And I did. I got to know Paul over the years, 30 years, and now I think he's sort of the same.
But when you did
could there be a more fulsome tribute than that? I warmed the contents of my heart.
When you did the first show, did you think, this is good? Was it a pilot, or did you think, we're just seeing how this goes? Is it a bit ad-lib? Did you know it was a winner?
We did a pilot, a very hot summer afternoon.
Yeah.
And my mother came to see it, and afterwards she said, never mind, dear.
It didn't go well. I mean, the audience didn't know what it was. We didn't know what it was. It was a very hot day, as Ian said, and everybody was thinking, why are we stuck in this studio? We could be outside. But from there on, it progressed.
What was it supposed to be, though, at that point?
Well, I don't think there was much of a structure to it.
Right.
A good friend of Ian's called Harry Thompson came on board as a producer, and he set up the idea of the rounds, didn't he? He came up with the rounds, which we still do, you know, the missing words round, the caption contest, the odd one out, all that sort of stuff. And so once it had that structure, you could then see, you know, what the programme was meant to be.
I think having been on it over...
Have you been on it?
I have been on it. I know you've raised me from your memory. I've been on teams with both of you.
Really?
Why am I feeding you lines, Paul?
I don't know. You can't help it.
Yeah, I can't help it.
Go on.
Thank you.
Yes, all right.
All right. Stop it. You've had women come on who've not said anything, and I know when I went on the first time, I was completely terrified. And I think there was a feeling in the early days, it was a bit boysy and it was too many blokes. And then women are more comfortable on the show now, for sure.
Oh, that's good.
No, I definitely, as someone who's been... Would you agree with that?
Well, I haven't been on there since
I don't think I'd want to go on. I'd be absolutely terrified. But what fascinates me is that neither of you are on social media at all. And I get a lot of my news, fake news and misinformation from social media. So is it a place we can come to and you right the wrongs, or...?
I think that's a small part of the job. It's just... there's an enormous amount of misinformation on social media, and I've spent a lot of my career just telling people that story isn't true. And if you just sit there and you think, well, there's this bloke who's... he runs a news channel from his bedroom, and you think, why do you trust what he says? And people say, oh, you can't trust the mainstream media, but you'll trust someone you've never heard of who's sitting there with a set agenda, probably in the United States, telling you what's wrong with Britain.
And obviously,
why do you buy this?
The BBC has to provide balance. How does that work with what you guys do? Because obviously, if there's somebody
we're
like
an independent production, so we're unbalanced.
But does comedy / satire get a free pass from balance, or is it something you still have to take into account?
Well, I would say there is no requisite to be balanced between truth and falsehood, or between nonsense and sense.
Yeah.
So I don't feel that if you say something that it's quite clearly true that you have to then have someone say something which isn't true and go, well, there you go.
I mean, you've had some great material to work on over those years. Just looking at the run-up of Prime Ministers, you've had 3 Labour and how many Tories? 6 or 7 Tories?
Yeah, it's been a lot, yes.
Yeah, so
Gladstone was the first one.
So now we have Keir Starmer.
Yes.
How do you feel about him as a figure of fun? I mean, challenging?
Well, I think, you know, with whoever's been the Prime Minister,
Gets it in the neck.
They're up for mocking, you know, and they should be
Some
fairly vocal.
others, aren't
Well,
they, Paul?
yes. Well, Liz Truss, for example, was a magnificent joy for all of us. And it's a real shame she only lasted a few weeks, really, because...
But, like, Keir Starmer would be more boring than Boris, for example. Well, do you always want the worst?
I think a boring Prime Minister was something that people were looking forward to for a while, I think, you know?
And unfortunately, he wasn't boring enough.
Yes.
Week 1, he came on and talked about his vision, and then we found out he'd accepted free spectacles.
But that was his vision. His vision had improved.
It had.
On a more serious note, I just wanted to ask you, Ian, and also to commend Private Eye, because the post office scandal, you were onto that story a very, very long time ago, very thorough on it. And it took a TV show for everybody to go, oh, my goodness, I can't believe... Yeah. Do you sort of feel, is it, like, a bit bittersweet for you? Like, kind of, I'm glad that it's happened, but why didn't you take notice of us?
No, I'm actually really... I mean, it was a brilliant ITV drama, and if drama is for anything, it's for making human stories accessible. And Alan Bates, who was at the centre of it, who's an absolutely delightful guy, he wrote me a letter during the Eye campaign, and he said... I'd like to complain. In the last issue of Private Eye, there was one page that didn't mention the post office scandal. And I thought, you're a funny guy. And he was brilliant as a campaigner, and we were a megaphone. And that's what drama's for. So I say, yes, great.
I think that's the thing, you hit on a point there, by the ITV drama, which was, as Ian says, brilliant, it humanised the story.
Yes. Yeah.
So you see, you can read as much as you want to read it in a paper or in Private Eye, whatever, but by humanising, casting it with really great actors who in many ways resemble the real people, then you start to feel the empathy and then you start to see the real injustice.
And then you get outraged.
Now, in America, a talk show host has just been taken off the air because of remarks he made about Charlie Kirk's assassination. Do you think there's ever any danger that in this country we would take a show off the air for remarks like that?
Well, you know, I mean, Trump is very thin-skinned and orange. He's a very thin orange. I mean, the idea is they mock whoever's president. So last year it was Joe Biden was getting it from Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert and Seth Meyers, you know, and it didn't really have any effect because Trump won the last election. So I think I'm
so sorry to interrupt you, otherwise we'll get taken off the air. I'm just being counted out. But have I got news for you? Friday, 3rd of October, 9 o'clock, BBC One, 35 years. Thank you very much.